Hi guys, my name is Chad Trofgerman, and you are watching Chad Chat. Before I begin today's episode, which will focus in on a question from a viewer, I have an announcement to make in regards to the Utorial service. Some of you may remember that I have discussed Utorial in the past, or you may have viewed one of the 4 series that I made for the Utorial platform. In any case, I have to announce today that the platform is shutting down. I was notified of this over the weekend, and essentially from here on out, up until September 31st, all existing customers can view the series they have purchased in the past up until that date, September 31st. You can, however, no longer purchase any new content from the site. That part of it has shut down. So if you are a customer who purchased a series and you've yet to complete one of the series I made, you can log on to the Utorial Market website and view your videos before it shuts down. So there is that. And again, if you're not sure or not familiar with what Utorial is, it was essentially a platform made to view tutorials, to view interactive tutorials. Basically, it would dock in the corner of your screen, which was really nice and pretty intuitive at the time because it allowed you to instantly look at your software that you are following along with, as well as look at the video. It allowed for pause points that the author could implement so that the viewer could catch up and do what needs to be done from the video. There are also notes you could implement as well from an author standpoint. And there are just a bunch of other little features that made the platform unique as far as viewing tutorials. Anyway, it has shut down, and so it is no longer available, unfortunately, to new viewers. So that leaves a question as to what I will do with the 4 Utorial series I published for the platform. Originally, when Utorial launched and I signed on with them, I had a contract stating that the series that I made for the platform could not be distributed anywhere else. Well, now that the platform is no longer up, I am free to publish these works elsewhere. I have yet to decide what I will do in that regard, if I will put them on YouTube, if I will sell them. I haven't decided yet. However, you'll find out in due time what I do decide to do, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. And you can keep updated on my blog or my Incredible Tutorials website for more information on that as well. So with all that said, let's begin today's episode of Chad Chat. This episode's question comes from Bear, and he writes, "Hey Chad, I just finished making a Flash movie and would like to put it on the web. However, I know I have to copyright the film somehow, but I'm not sure how. Do you have any suggestions?" Well, copyright is an issue. I'm sure that many of us have questions about, especially since I'm sure a majority of us want to or have published to the web. Well, I'm not a legal expert by any means because that's not my field. However, I do know some things about the process since I do publish to the web. So what I'll be saying here will be pretty light, and it also only pertains to United States copyright law. I'm not sure of anything past that, just so you guys are aware. However, so from my understanding, when it comes to publishing to the web, whenever an individual publishes an original work to the web, let's say on their own website, they automatically retain all the rights to that work. So essentially, it's copyrighted. It goes under all rights reserved, which means that that individual owns all the rights to that work, and if it's infringed upon, they have the right to take legal action to protect that work. So essentially, if you publish something to the web, it's under copyright law in the United States. Now, there are some stipulations to this. Let's say, for instance, you publish to another service, another venue that's not your own website, and they have terms and conditions. Well, some of their terms and conditions may state that they own some right to your work. So you might be giving up some of your rights when you publish to these venues. And to be honest, I can't think of any off the top of my head that do this. I'm sure they are out there, though. There are probably some services that do that. So since I can't think of any, I can't give you any examples. As far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, any of you out there who know more about this than I do, as far as I know, YouTube is pretty safe in this regard. I don't think there's anything in their guidelines that suggests we own your work when you publish it. And the same goes for other venues. Like, I'm now a partner of Fullscreen, which is a partnership network on YouTube, and reading through the contract and asking the questions I needed to ask before signing, they don't retain the rights either. So, again, it just depends on the entity that you are publishing to. If you are publishing your Flash movie to your own website, you're 100% safe. Just make sure that when you publish to other venues that you are careful as far as where you publish, and you make sure you read the terms and conditions before signing off and publishing your work to their service. Now, there are a couple other things you could do. Let's say, for instance, that you are making a movie and you're going to release it in theaters first, and then later on you might decide to put it on the internet. Well, then in that case, you may want to go through the channels of signing the documents, paying the fees, and getting it copyrighted that way. And again, I'm not sure on a lot of that, but I would think that since you're not publishing it to the web right away in that regard, you may want to go through the proper channels, and go through the copyright laws that way and get everything signed like that. Now, there is one more thing you can do to protect yourself. And I have heard about this method through a few different channels over the past few years. I'm not sure how reliable it is, but again, since I've heard about this from different sources, I would have to think that it's a pretty substantial way to protect yourself. And that is essentially writing up a document stating that you have created this property, or you have ownership to the property on such and such date, so the date that you make up the document, and then you have it signed by yourself. And I'm not sure if a lawyer needs to be involved. It may help if you are doing this and you want to be serious about it. You may want to ask a lawyer to have involvement in this. But basically, you have all that figured out. I'm not sure if it needs to be signed with a lawyer or if it needs to be notarized or anything like that. But you have a document stating that you have ownership to this property. You then mail the document to yourself. So you just stick it in an envelope, throw it in a post box, send it to your address. It gets sent to you, and then you don't open the envelope because you have the post date on the envelope itself. So if a court battle were to arise, or if you needed to prove that you created this work at a certain time, you could bring that envelope, to whatever legal entity is residing over the proceedings, I guess. Show them that you have this envelope, it's dated, you have signed, stating that you have created this property, and then you will basically prove that you have created this property at a certain time. Now, there are other things you could probably do as far as legal battles, if that would ever come about, as far as maybe documenting your work in some regard. Just having evidence that you created the work, that could help as well. But again, I don't see that ever being a problem unless if you have a huge work that really takes off. I mean, I've never had any problems with this type of stuff, but you'll probably only run into that if your property becomes really big, you're making a lot of money, and you want to protect your property from hemorrhaging money, or, just creatively, you don't want people to take your work when it gets really big. But I think that's something that you should worry about a little bit more down the line. Right now, worry about getting your movie out, getting it advertised, getting your viewers, and then if those things arise, you can use the tools I've given you here, or you can research it yourself to protect yourself from those issues. But again, don't let all that legal stuff get you down. Just make sure you have fun and you make the movie that you want to make. And that is my advice for you. So take it as you will. Again, I'm not a legal expert, but I know a little bit about it. If you need to research more, I would recommend Google, or I guess you could contact a lawyer if you wish, but those are the tips I have for you. If you have any more questions regarding animation, Flash, Anime Studio, any of those, you can check out my website at chadchat.incredibletutorials.com. I am also on YouTube, so you can post comments and questions on my videos. I have a Facebook page, so you can check that out as well, a Google Plus page. I'm on Pinterest, and of course, Twitter. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.